is it's a public service announcement called "Be in Charge," and I'm taking it to be a New Age group called Centerstone. Think about that for a while, okay? Centerstone. And those of you familiar with occult imagery and New Age teachings and all of this junk, you're going to see why this really got my interest. And I may use this next week or the week after that as the basis of a Watchman broadcast. It's that profound. But I want you to take a look at this public service announcement called, what was it called again? Anyway, you watch it. Here we go.
Be the pharaoh of your pyramids, the bodyguard of yourself. Let no one in without security clearance. Be quick to assume the position of...
Okay, I want to stop right here. Okay? Be the pharaoh of your pyramid. Did you catch that? By the way, on this kid's chest is an all-seeing eye. Okay? I probably will play this a couple of times. Have fun with it, all right? Here we go again.
Sex is worth interrogating. The bull of your body, taking charge in choices, listening to those voices in your center stone, your mind. Blow the whistle, read the playbook, read the statistics, read the factors that matter. Be in charge.
Let's watch it again.
The pharaoh of your pyramids, the bodyguard of yourself. Let no one in without security clearance. Be quick to assume the position of question. Sex is worth interrogating. The bull of your body, taking charge in choices, listening to those voices in your center stone, your mind. Blow the whistle, read the playbook, read the statistics, read the factors that matter. Be in charge.
Let's do it again. I'm getting into this now.
The pharaoh of your pyramid,
Wish I had a
the
pen.
bodyguard of yourself. Let no one in without security clearance. Be quick to assume the position of question. Sex is worth interrogating. The bull of your body, taking charge in choices, listening to those voices in your center stone, your mind. Blow the whistle, read the playbook, read the statistics, read the factors that matter. Be in charge.
The bull of your body. The bull. Okay? You know who that is? That's Baal. That's the golden calf. Okay? The center stone of your mind. That's like your pineal gland. It's in the center of your mind. And the stone is it's an image of the Antichrist. Okay? This commercial says, everybody, let's go take the mark of the beast. Okay? Unreal. The person who sent me this, let's see, I think they responded here. Yeah, there it is. Rashonda, I appreciate that. And one of if I remember right, Rashonda, if you could illuminate me on the fly here, there was what was this commercial all about anyway? In other words, who's funding it and who's putting the money out? And I'll talk a little bit while I'm awaiting your response. But be the pharaoh of your pyramid, okay? Yeah, okay? Be the pharaoh of your pyramid, the bull of your body. What was some of the other stuff that was talked about in there? It was, oh, man, I don't know. Anyway, the center point of your mind. It's all about asking questions and getting answers. It's all about illumination. You know what? I want to watch this thing again, okay? There was something else in there I can't remember.
The pharaoh of your pyramids, the bodyguard of yourself. Let no one in without security clearance. Be quick to assume the position of question. Sex is worth interrogating. The bull of your body, taking charge in choices, listening to those voices in your center stone, your mind. Blow the whistle, read the playbook,
That's
read
what it
the
was.
statistics, read
That's
the
what it was.
factors that matter.
Listening to those voices in the center stone of your mind. There is a Bible term for that. It's called familiar spirits. That's what that is, okay? Absolutely insane. And if I remember right, I think it had something to do with young people and sexual choices and stuff like that. Pretty much what you'd hear in a sermon in a church nowadays. I think that's what it was. And it wouldn't surprise me a bit if there are churches that would be linked in with this, and that would be a good thing for you all to investigate out there. And Michelle writes, in other words, be your own God. And that's exactly what I think is getting at. Be your own God, make your own choices, be free, have sex wherever, whoever, whatever. I think the statement that he made was sex is worth interrogating, okay? Which basically means go find out about it, okay? Knock yourself out, have a lot of it. It's dealing with fornication is what it is. And there were four principles that at the apostles' meeting in the book of Acts, and Paul referenced it in the book of Galatians, there are four things that the Gentile church was to be made aware of, and things that they were to follow. And you need and go back and read this because it's very interesting. Is that the Gentiles were required to abstain from things strangled, from blood, from meat offered to idols, and from fornication. Four things there. Okay, specifically the fornication part. And here it is, they're just promoting this stuff right and left and pushing it to a young, I don't know, it sounds like to me there's a pedophile out there pushing sex on kids, is what it sounds like to me. Let me hear some of your other comments. Let's see here. I'm waiting for some comments about this particular video that we had, and while we do that, I'm going to read some other pieces of paper that I have. What do I have for today? Monsanto. You know about Monsanto, don't you? One of the most powerful organizations in the world is and is going to be the organization that controls the food of the planet. Okay? How do you train dogs and cats and tigers and lions and elephants and dolphins? How do you do that? You do it with food. Okay? And you withhold food. In fact, I'll tell a little story. The guy I used to work for, I go down to his ranch every year in southern Missouri and go deer hunting, and I'll be down there again this year in about 3.5 weeks. And he used to train animals, and he was pretty good at it. He was a rodeo bull rider, and he trained animals. And I don't know if you remember, and you know what, I might dig this up one of these days because he gave me the footage of it. Back in the 70s, he was hired as a wrangler to train a stag deer from England for the Hartford insurance commercials. You remember that, where the deer would run up and strike a pose? And that was the Hartford insurance. Well, there was a series of commercials where he actually trained a stag deer for this thing, got it to do all this stuff. It was amazing. He told stories about how he did it. But pretty much how he did it was he starved it. He starved it because this stag deer was in full rut. And what that means is the horns are real broad and they're shiny, and there's a, the neck fur is just really out there. There's just a lot of pride there in that deer. It was in full rut. Well, the only thing it wants to do is mate, and the only thing that it has to do is eat. And so he starved it and trained it by giving it food to get it to do what he wanted it to do. And I can tell you that we're headed that way. The most powerful organization in the world will be the organization that controls the food. So here's an article about Monsanto. The no food rights judge quits to work for Monsanto law firm. The Wisconsin judge who recently ruled that we have no right to own a cow or drink its milk resigned to join one of Monsanto's law firms. Let's see here. The bottom part of this got cut off. Anyway, in the case, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office upheld Genetic Technologies Limited's patent for non-coding DNA technologies, giving more firepower to the Australian company's patent infringement suit against Monsanto. Let's see here. Let me get down to the meat of it. Anyway, in an absurd ruling this year, the Second Circuit Appellate Court allowed the patent on these human genes even though the DNA sequence occurs in nature. Now, you get where I'm going. I said this here, I think it was last year, where at some point, because of the genes that we carry, we won't belong to us. We'll belong to the company. Okay? We'll be property. And that's exactly what Mystery Babylon is all about, and why the merchants of the earth are moaning and wailing over her loss, is that they are she has the merchandise of the souls of men. But anyway, apparently in this lawsuit, a judge ruled in favor of Monsanto, and then he quits and becomes a lawyer, probably a well-paid lawyer, for Monsanto. Something stinks really bad. Anyway, here's an article about Positive IT Corporation. Receives Verichip order from use with Israeli military. Positive ID Corporation, a developer of medical technologies for diabetes management, clinical diagnostics, and biothreat detection, announced today that it has received an order for its Verichip microchip to be used for disaster preparedness and emergency management in Israel by an integration partner. Integration partner. That sounds like a gay marriage, is what it sounds like. Oh, we're integrated partners. Anyway, announced today it was received an order for its Verichip microchip to be used for disaster preparedness. Think about it. Think about it. Okay? A disaster happens. The government says, everybody come into the corral. Okay? Everybody come into the corral. And by the way, we need to kind of keep track of everybody. So everybody, we're going to give you this little chip. It won't hurt. It's not the mark of the beast. Don't worry about it. Okay? I'm going to address something just nonchalantly. You like my French? I've been accused on a website of saying that when the government invokes martial law and starts rounding everybody up, I have been accused of saying that I think we ought to just get in the truck and go with them. I have never said that. I would never say that. That's ridiculous. And there's even an accusation out there on the internet that the IRS came to me and threatened me because we're a 501c3 church. We're not. We're not a 501c3 church. Never have been, never will be. I have no desire to be. I know some of the rules that go with that, and I don't want anything to do with it. We are a church, and I am saying what I want to say here, what God tells me to say. But anyway, martial law more than likely is coming at some point to America. And we can, and this is a little like a little test program in Israel, telling just sort of to try it out, I guess over there, because they'll be bombed before we will probably. And but just giving the Verichip out in case of emergency preparedness. And at some point in this country, when the entire thing collapses, whether financially or naturally or whatever, I can tell you this: I think God's people are going to shine more than they ever have in the history of mankind when all this stuff breaks down. And in some sense, I'm actually looking forward to it, because when it all comes down and they say don't preach, I'm preaching. And so anyway, let me go back to my comments very quickly. Pastor Mike online comments. Let's see here. Let me find it. Rashonda writes in, Centerstone is funding this. Check out their philosophies. You can go to centerstone.org. And I don't have time to do that today, but the people now are well informed. She sent something called the 12 Principles of Re-Education. Re-education. I think it would be worth looking into as astute watchers. And I will probably be looking into this in the next week or so. So if you want to help me out with some research, please send it to Pastor Mike at kingjamesco.org. And I think it will make a good Watchman broadcast. Michelle writes in and says,